evening. It was a pleasure meeting many of you, and hopefully I have a chance to get to know all of you as the Shabbaton continues. First of all, I want to thank Hagon Rav Kaleti for putting this wonderful Shabbaton together, making sure that such a wonderful kehillah comes into being and grows, B'ezrat Hashem, and also for inviting my wife and I to be a part of this very important endeavor that he and his Rebbetzin are working on together with a very important staff. And B'ezrat Hashem, he should continue to have blessing, success, and this wonderful operation should grow and grow, and have a community for Yidden who are being found in Hungary to find a Jewish home. Amen.
Amen. Nagyon köszöni az egész meghívást, nagyon örül, hogy találkozhatott velünk, nagyon különösen köszöni Ráv Keletinek, hogy ezt az egész nagy erőfeszítéseket teszi az egész közösség számára, és nagyon kívánja nekünk, hogy mihamarabb egy igazi, jó, komoly közösség kinőhessen.
So, tonight we're going to be speaking about dreams. And I'll try and give an introduction to some of the major teachings about dreams in Judaism. What is Jewish teachings, thoughts about dreams? Where do dreams come from? What do dreams mean? How can we use them? And of course, feel free to ask questions as we go along. It should be interactive. First of all, many of us might think that dreams are insignificant, dreams don't mean anything, and very often it's possible that that's the case. Still, Jewish sources seem to indicate that there are at least some times when dreams are significant.
A téma ma este az álmok lesznek, és minden bármiféle kérdésnek van, azt föl tudjátok tenni, és nézni próbáljuk a hagyományunkon keresztül, hogy mi az álmoknak a jelentősége, és egyelőre, hogy első rátáson elnézünk, azt álljuk, hogy hát néha azt jelenti, hogy kell belőle következtetés levonni, néha meg nem.
So let's just go a brief summary of some of the important dreams that we find in Jewish sources, in the Torah and the prophets. For example, start with the famous dream of Avraham Avinu, Abraham. He had a dream where God appears to him and tells him that he's destined to be the father of a great nation, but this nation will go into Egypt and be enslaved there. And we see that, in fact, that happened. It came true. So that shows that dreams are considered to be true. There's something prophetic about dreams.
Az első álom, amit nézünk, ami első álom, amit a Tórában látunk, Ábrahámnak az álma, amiben az örökkévaló szólt hozzá, és mondta, hogy nagy nép lesz belőle, de hogy ez a nép le fog menni Egyiptomba, és vissza fog jönni, a gyerekeire fog menni Egyiptomba, és ez amit mondott, ez így történt, úgyhogy ha ezt a példát látnánk, az mondják, hogy ez valóra válnak az álmok.
The next in line is Jacob. Okay, Jacob also had a very important dream. Raise your hands. What dream did Jacob dream? Raise your hands. No, you don't count.
Angels are coming and going.
What's that?
Angels are coming and going on the ladder.
Yeah, very good. That's the famous dream, Jacob's ladder. Yeah, Jacob's ladder. Jacob had a dream. He was sleeping on a holy spot. The spot was associated with the temple. And there he sees a ladder going from the ground to heaven. Angels going up and down. These angels were angels that were guarding Yaakov on his way outside of the land of Israel. And then going into the border outside of Israel, new angels came down to protect him along his way. But the point is that God conveyed to him that he was going into exile and he would be protected, but the Jewish people would return.
A következő álom, amit látunk a Tórában, az a Jákobnak az álma. Jákob egy létrát látott, amit angyalok mennek lefele és fölfele, és ez az álom is ugye azt szimbolizálta, hogy ezek az egyik angyalok azok voltak Izrael földjén angyalok, másik a külföldi angyalok, és az álom jelentőség az volt, hogy az örökkévaló fog vigyázni a Jákobra, vissza fog térni, és ez is így lett, ez is profétikus jelentőségét mutatja az álmának.
Joseph. What was Joseph's dream?
Mi volt József álma? Mondjátok.
Hét meg a hét tehén, meg a hét kövér tehén, a hét
az a fáraó álma volt.
De bocsánat,
A József meg aztán...
Leborulnak a...
What was Joseph's dream?
de nem a tehén, hanem a csillagok.
They get an agreement.
That's so easy, right? What was Joseph's dream? Joseph had a dream where he saw the sun and the moon, and he saw 11 stars, and the sun and the moon and these 11 stars were bowing down to him. Is that what they said?
This was also mentioned, and also Pharaoh's dreams were mentioned about 7,000.
Okay. So that's the point. That was not Joseph's dream, that was Pharaoh's dream.
Yes.
Okay? Joseph's dream. Now, the sages tell us that the significance of this dream, as it says in the Pasuk, as it says in the verse itself, was that Joseph's father and mother would come to bow down to him together with his 11 siblings, his 11 brothers. And we see that, in fact, that came true.
They did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The father and mother came and both them.
Oh, wait. That's a good point.
Okay.
His family eventually bowed down to him.
Okay. Szóval ez az álom, ez amikor lát a napot, meg a holdat, meg csillagokat, és meghajoltak előtte, és ennek is egy bizonyos részét láthatjuk, hogy valóban megvalósult, hogy tényleg amikor ő volt alkirály, Fáraó mellett Egyiptomban, tényleg jöttek a testvérei, jöttek a család, és meghajoltak előtte.
Solomon, King Solomon, Shlomo also had a very important dream. This is not as well known, but in Solomon's dream, God appears to him and says to him, Solomon, I see that you are good, you walk in the right ways before me. Ask for me anything you'd like in a dream. Ask for me anything you'd like, and I'll grant it to you. So Solomon says, God, I ask you please to grant me a wise heart in order to guide your people in the ways of Torah. God says, you could have asked for money, you could have asked for health, you could have asked for wealth, you could have asked for power, but you humbly asked for wisdom to guide God's people, so I'm going to give you wisdom to guide God's people, and health, and wealth, and power, and everything else you want. And it came true.
Salamonnak is van egy álma a Bibliában leírva, Salamon királynak, ez talán nem annyira ismert mindenki számára, amikor kérdezte az örökkévalótól, hogy mit szeretne, mit kér, és kért egy megértéssel közviszélt, egy bölcs szívet kért. És amikor az örökkévaló hallotta, hogy ezt kérted, és nem gazdagságot, hatalmat, meg mindent, hanem azért kértél a bölcsességet, hogy a népet vezethess, ezért megkapod azt is, amit nem kér, és ez is mind teljesült, amit megkapott álmában ígéretben.
So we have true dreams that were experienced by Abraham, by Joseph, we have also by Yaakov, and we have by Shlomo. What's common about all of these people? Janos? Yeah, you understood?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What's common? You know what? You don't know because you're a tzaddik, so you don't know. But they were tzaddikim, just like you. They were all tzaddikim, righteous individuals, and they had these true dreams. What about people who are not righteous? What about the wicked? Can wicked people have true prophetic dreams?
Mert hogy ezek az emberek, eddig említett, ezek mind jámbor emberek voltak. Ábrahám, József, Jákob, Salamon. És ez a kérdés, hogy most vajon lehetséges-e az, hogy valaki nem egy jámbor ember, lehet egy gonosz ember. Neki is lehet profétiai álma?
So we
She says it can.
Who's that? Okay, good. Can you give an example?
Bilam.
Okay, good. Bilam is described in the Torah as having a prophetic experience.
Bilam was in a very high level.
Yes, and when he had this prophetic influence, he would fall and shake, and he would have the prophecy. Yeah, I'm thinking about what about dreams? So we find in the Torah a discussion about Abimelech. Abimelech saw Yitzchak and Rivka, who were living in his area, and he desired Rivka as a wife, so he took Rivka. And as a result of this, he was plagued. Disease came into his house. And God appeared to Abimelech in a dream and said, this woman is married to Yitzchak, send her back. And if you don't, it's going to be a problem. And if you do, he'll pray for you and you'll become well. But the point is that God appeared to Abimelech in a dream, and he gave him this prophetic message. And Abimelech was very wicked.
Azért lehetséges egy ilyen példa is, az Abimelechnél, akinek a Yitzchak meg a Rivka az ő birodalmában élt, és akkor nem mondták el, hogy fél feleség, és akkor Abimelech megküldte Rivkát, és hívta magához, és akkor mindenféle problémák történt, és egy álomban megjelent neki, és mondta, hogy küld el meg egy férjes asszony, és megjelent neki pedig, hát róla tudjuk, hogy gonosz ember volt.
And we spoke earlier about Yaakov leaving Israel to go into Padan Aram. When Yaakov came back, he was actually pursued by Lavan. And Lavan, his father-in-law, his shver, wanted to kill him, wanted to pursue him and kill him. And Hashem appears to Lavan in the dream and says, don't touch him. Don't touch him, don't bother him, right? And it turns out that Lavan said to him afterwards, you know, I could have harmed you, but your God came to me yesterday and said, don't touch you. Otherwise, I would have killed you. His father-in-law, yeah? But Hashem appeared to Lavan in the dream.
Másik például Lávánnál, amikor üldözte Jákobot, és megjelent neki az örökkévaló egy álomban, és mondta neki, hogy ne tegyél se jót, se rosszat a Jákobban, és akkor mondja is neki másnap halálra, hogy hát nem jelent volna meg neked, meg nekem álmomban az örökkévaló, mégis öltelek volna. Pedig hát milyen gonosz ember volt, hogy apósaként megölte volna simán.
Now, there's also Pharaoh's dream, the dreams of the butler and the baker in the dungeon regarding who?
Regarding?
Yes? Remember there was a certain tzaddik who was in the dungeon in Egypt, and there were two people there who had the dreams, the cupbearer and the baker. Yeah? Remember what the dreams were?
Yeah.
What did the cupbearer dream? Do they understand?
Mi volt a főpohárnoknak az álma? Volt Egyiptomban két embernek az álma.
A madár, aki csipeget, az volt a szakács, ahogy csipeget egy madárka a fejéből a kosárból, mármint így a kosárból lévő fékáról, és a főpohárnoknak meg szőlő volt, az hiszem a fején, ugye, és akkor nem.
Until then you got it right. Yeah.
The baker, she said, and then the cupbearer.
Yeah, the cupbearer. Okay.
No, she said the grape was on her head.
Press.
Yes, that's right. So you had the butler and the baker. What happened is that the butler, the one who gave the wine, was squeezing wine grapes into the cup of Pharaoh, and then he put the cup into the hand of Pharaoh. And the baker, right? And the baker had these pieces of bread, the baskets, and he had 1 basket, 2 baskets, 3 baskets of bread, and the birds were eating from the baskets of the bread. Joseph said to the butler, 3 days you're going to be lifted from the dungeon and return to serving Pharaoh, putting the wine in his hand. The baker hears such a good dream. He says, 3 days restored to serving the king. I also had a dream, 3 baskets. He says, those 3 baskets, 3 days. After 3 days, off with your head. Here, off with your head. You're done. Now, it's interesting, just parenthetically. How did Joseph know the difference? They seem the same. 3 clusters of wine, 3 baskets of bread. Yeah? 3 days restored, 3 days head off. Yeah? So there's an interesting explanation that Joseph, in the dream, the baker saw the birds eating from the basket on his head. Animals don't come close to human beings in that way. So he realized if an animal came that close, he must have already been like...
Yeah, you're dead.
You're dead. Yeah, it's like a shadow of a man. In 3 days he would be gone. But in any case, the dream came true. You don't have to do the whole thing, just to point out those things. Yeah? Yeah. So now, then the final dream that's thing is Pharaoh's. Pharaoh's dream itself. You mentioned earlier Pharaoh's dream, right?
7 cows.
The 7 cows, right? Pharaoh had the dream. He saw that there were 7 fat cows that came out of the river, and then 7 thin cows, and the 7 thin cows ate the fat cows, and the fat cows disappeared. Joseph interprets the dream. 7 fat cows, 7 fat years, full of plenty. 7 thin cows, 7 years of famine. The famine's going to devour the plentiness, and Egypt's wealth is going to go into loss. Okay? This is also a dream that came true. So here you see Tzadikim, Avram, Yaakov, the others that we spoke about, Yosef, Shlomo, true dreams. If something is special about dreams, that the righteous have it, so how do you have the same thing with Lavan, Avimelech, Pharaoh, the butler, and the baker?
What's the question? Sorry.
I'm saying.
So how can it be that wicked and righteous?
Yes, you have the righteous having true prophetic dreams, and you have the wicked having true prophetic dreams. How can that be? Why should the wicked people have to? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Láthatunk most 4 álmot, amit 4 igaz ember álmodott, amit korábban volt, és most mondott 4 olyan álmot is, amik szintén valóra váltak. Ezek 4 gonosz embernek ez az Abimelek, a fáraó és a fáraónak a főpohárnoka és a fősütőmesternek, aminek az álma megjósolta a fősütőmesternek, hogy ő meg fog halni, kivégzik, a főpohárnoknak, hogy visszahelyezik, és a fáraónak meg ez a 7 szűkező 7 bőesztelen. És a kérdés pedig az, hogy lehetséges ez az álmokkal, hogy még egy gonosz embernek is lehetséges, hogy az igaz embernek még értjük, hogy ilyen proféciát kap.
Yeah,
és egy gonosz embernél hogy lehetséges ez, hogy kapja és egy proféciát, hogy ilyen igaz ember, gonosz ember volt.
Danny, right?
Yeah. You mentioned if a human being is close to beasts, that means that he or she is dead.
Right.
So that reminded me of Daniel, who was thrown into a pit full of lions.
Yes.
And he didn't die.
Yes.
And
they wouldn't come close.
Predator, lion is a predator.
And he was also in dreams.
Lion is a predator.
Yeah.
He was also
The
bird is
is,
not a predator.
if we had more time, we could go into Daniel's dream and Nebuchadnezzar's dream, which is just a fabulous story. But I think because of the time and the setup, we have to put that aside. But what would be a distinction between the dreams of the righteous and the dreams of the wicked? If a person has prophetic dreams as a righteous person, that we can understand. But why should the wicked have these prophetic dreams? Distinction?
But they were not able to realize the meaning of their dreams. The wicked.
Okay, but I'm asking, but why would they have such a dream? Why would they merit having a revelation from God?
Because
Yeah, go ahead.
maybe God wanted to give a chance to Joseph to have contact with the Pharaoh.
Beautiful, very good, very good. You see, in all of the cases of the dreams of the righteous, God was really revealing something to benefit the righteous. Mm-hmm. In the case of the dreams for the wicked, he wasn't revealing anything to benefit the wicked. The dreams of the wicked were also coming to benefit the righteous. Yeah? Yeah. Abimelech had a dream to save Rivka. Pharaoh's servants had these dreams to save Joseph. So did Pharaoh himself have this dream to save Joseph. So you see from here that dreams come from a very high place. They are part of God's way of ruling the world, one of the tools that God has in order to rule the world. And God can use this tool through the tzaddikim to benefit the tzaddikim. And God can also use this tool even for wicked people to benefit the tzaddikim.
Azért, hogy lehet, hogy ez megérdemlik egy szép profétai álmot, hát ezt, akik gonoszok, azok megérdemlik az igazak kedvéért. Hiszen minden olyan álom, amit eddig láttunk, amit egy gonosz ember álmodott, abból végül mindig is egy igaz ember jött ki jól, és úgy látjuk, hogy ez az egész álom, ez az örökkévaló kezében egy jó eszköz, amivel mindig az igazaknak tud jót tenni, akár igaz, akár gonosz ember álmodja.
Very good. Now, these all seem to indicate that dreams are part of prophecy. Dreams are a way of God's communicating messages into the world through his servants as an agent to do God's will. On the other hand, we have verses from throughout the Tanakh that seem to say something other than that. For example, one verse says, Halamot Shavi Deber. Dreams, they speak nonsense. There's nothing to them. Another verse says that the dreams are actually falsehood. Sheker. So how do we reconcile it? Either dreams are true, or they're nonsense, or they're false. How can they be all of these 3 different things?
És ahhoz képest még egy csomó olyan mondatot is láthatunk a Szentírásban, a Bibliában, van, ami azt írja, hogy az álmok azok egyszerűen hazugságok, és van, ami azt írja, hogy az álma az bolondságok vannak, értelmetlenségek, és akkor hogy lehet ezeket összehangolni?
Yeah. So the different Jewish sources explain why you have these different types of dreams. And the Ramchal, Rav Koleti mentioned this talk this afternoon, Rav Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, the Ramchal, who wrote a book called Derech Hashem, The Way of God, he writes there about dreams. And he says that one of the reasons, one of the sources from dreams is that it comes from the material engagements, the material activities that a person does during the day. The things that he eats, the things that he speaks, the things that he sees, the things that he hears. so that the source for these dreams are coming from below. They're coming from the lower physical mundane world. These dreams are nonsense. What does it mean by nonsense? Not that they're stupid or they're foolish, but the point is there's nothing true about them. There's nothing prophetic about them. Why? Because there's just an expression of the experience that a person has. So Ramchal says, for example, when a person eats and they go to sleep, biologically the digestive process of the food causes gases to be released, and they affect a person's mind when they're sleeping, and it has an effect on the person's thoughts. Or, for example, we all know that if you studied for an exam during the day, you go to sleep, you think about the exam, only because that's what you're involved in. Yeah? So this would be the first category of the dream, which means nothing. These dreams are not true dreams because they don't say anything about prophecy.
Valójában a Ramchal pont, akiről Rav Keleti is beszélt, hogy Kabala kapcsán, a Derek HaShemban ír az álmoknak a lehetséges kategóriájáról és forrásairól. Első kategória, amiről mondtak, hogy az értelmetlen álmok, melyeknek semmilyen különleges magántúlmutató értelmük nincs, amik az egész napos dolgokból jönnek, mint evett az ember, miken gondolkozott, hogyha egy vizsgára készült, akkor arról fog álmodni, amiket evette, az étel, hogy miközben emészti, közben ilyen gázok szabadulnak fel, és fölnek az ember fejbe, az is bele játszik az álomba, ennek semmiféle kapcsolata nincs a valósággal.
Obviously there's a value to these dreams because it can tell you where your mind state is. So it could be good for psychoanalysis. A person can tell you a dream, and the dream is telling you what's on the person's mind. Okay? I don't mean to say that they have no value, but they have no spiritual value because it's not telling you any spiritual reality. At most it's only telling you a physical material truth.
De mégis lehet értelme, hogyha például még mind gondolkozott az ember, és észrevette, hogy mind gondolkozott, akkor az álomból ezt megtudhatja, tehát ilyen pszichoanalitikus értelme lehet, csak nem ilyen proféta, ilyen magasabb szellemi dolgokat nem fog ebből megtudni.
The Gemara in Masechet Brachos, can I use Ashkenazi pronunciation? Yeah, the Gemara in Masechet Brachos says the same thing, that very often people dream about the things that they think of during the day. The Gemara says, for example, you'll never find a person dreaming of a golden palm tree. Okay? You'll never find a person dreaming an elephant going through the eye of a needle. Why? Because these things aren't real. You never think of them, so you'll never dream them. Of course, now that I've told you, tonight you can all be dreaming yeah, about golden palm trees and elephants going through the eye of a needle. Yeah?
És ezt a Talmud is említi, hogy nem is lehetséges olyasmit álmodni, ami nem létezik, hogy nem kerül be az agyba a gondolat, és erre hoz is két példát, hogy egy aranyszínű pálmafal, vagy aranyból levő pálmafal, vagy pedig egy elefánt, vagy keresztülnél tűnnek a fokán. De most, hogy elmondtuk, most már álmodhattok róla, és már elképzeltétek.
The Lord tells a story about a king of Rome and the king of Persia. At a time when there was a war between the one king and the other, the king of Rome and the king of Persia. And the Gemara tells us that the king of Rome addressed one of the rabbis. And he says, "Tell me, Rabbi, you Jews are supposed to be so smart. Tell me what I'm going to dream tonight."
Ez történt, amikor a Róma és Perzsia háborúban állt, és akkor a különböző királyok álmodtak, és akkor hívtak egy rabbit, és kérdezték a rabbit, hogy mit fog álmodni az éjjel.
So I'll tell you what you're going to dream tonight. You're the king of Rome. The king of Persia, in your dream, is going to take you captive, and he's going to cause you to pasture sheep with a golden rod. Yeah?
Azt mondta, hogy te vagy a római király, azt fogod mondani, hogy Perzsia királya fogjul ejt, és azt mondja, hogy legyél egy pásztor, és lesz a kezedben egy aranyszínű bot, amivel pásztorolsz.
And that's how it was. It happened. Yeah. So then, on the other side of the border, you have the Persian king. And at the same time, the Persian king says to a rabbi, "You Jews are supposed to be so smart. Tell me, Rabbi, what am I going to dream tonight?" So the rabbi says to him, "You, the king of Persia, you're at war with the king of Rome. You're going to dream that the king of Rome takes you captive, and he causes you to grind golden pits of dates."
Golden
Pits of dates.
Dates. Okay. Perzsiában is kérdezte, hogy olyan okosak a zsidók, mit mond a zsidó bölcsesség, mit fogok álmodni most. Azt fogod álmodni Perzsia királya, hogy fogjul ejt a római király, és kell majd őrölnöd aranyszínű magjait a datoljafának.
Yes. And that's what happened.
És Álmok mindkettő bejött.
They dreamt the dream. Yeah. So clearly the Gemara brings this as an example of the rabbis putting the idea in the person's mind. He was thinking about the idea over and over again, and as a result he had the dream. Yeah? So the rabbis were smart. Psychologists, yeah? But how did that work? Did you notice, is there anything special about the dream? How did the rabbis cause the kings to make this dream?
Valahogy ez a rabik elérték, hogy ezt álmodják, hogy nem mondták nekik, és akkor ezen gondolkoztak, és akkor így tényleg ezt álmodták, de mégis hogy tudták ezt elérni, hogy tényleg ezen gondolkodjanak meg, hogy olyasmit kell mondania, hogy...
Do they notice two similarities in each dream?
Észre kell venni, mik voltak a párhuzamok, mi volt a trükkjük a rabbiknak, a kétféle álomban.
Danny.
One element I think is gold.
Excellent.
And gold is probably the symbol of power.
Yes, very good, very good. It's interesting. In each case, the rabbi used gold. Yeah, in the one case he says you're going to have to pasture sheep with a gold stick, and the other says you're going to grind golden pits. Gold. What else? Second thing. Fear. Yeah, fear. So what did he get? Fear and money. Yeah, the two things that get people really crazy. So the rabbi's saying, I'm going to make him to dream what I want him to dream. I'm going to put in fear, I'm going to put in money. And that's what they dreamt. Now, so this is the first form of dreams. The dreams that come about because of things that you think about, things that you're preoccupied, things that you're worried about. The third source of dreams would be dreams that come about through spiritual forces. And here too, the Ramchal explains how this works. According to Jewish mysticism, according to Kabbalah, we're told that there are 5 levels of soul. Familiar with this concept? 5 levels of soul? Do you know what they are? See it? 5 levels of soul. Nefesh. You familiar with the term? Nefesh? What? Ruach. Neshama. Then Haya and Yehidah. Yeah, very good. 5 levels of soul. The Zohar explains that when a person sleeps at night, these levels of soul loosen from the body, and they elevate into the spiritual realm. The lowest level, Nefesh, remains connected to the body. That's what the word Nefesh means. To come to rest, like it says in the Torah. Shabbat v'nafash. Shabbos comes in, you rest. Yeah? Nefesh is the level of soul that stays resting connected to the body. When a person sleeps, the higher levels, that's Ruach, Neshama, Ayin, Yehidah, they are rejuvenated in the spiritual realm.
Oké, szóval akkor a 3 kategória az álomnak, az első volt az ilyen földi dolgok, amik egész nap járnak a fejünkben, a második, amikkel aggódunk. Mik azok, amik aggódunk, ezek, amikkel a rabbik okozták a királyоkat álmodni, mivel tudták a rabbik rá a királyokat álmodni, vagy félelemmel, vagy pénzzel, ezért volt mindig ez a 2 motívum mindkét rabbinak a javasolt álmában. Mert ami foglalkoztatja, amitől aggódik az ember, az a második kategória az álomnak. És a harmadik, az már tényleg a spirituális, az már kapcsolatban 5 lélek résszel, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Haya, Yehidah, és azt tanítja a Zohár, hogy ez a 5 lélek rész van minden embernek a lelkéből, ebből áll, és amikor alszik, akkor ez kienged, kvázi, és elrepül fölfelé, de kivéve a nefest, mert ami a legalacsonyabb, az vele marad. És ezért is ez a nefes, ez azt jelenti héberül, Shabbat v'nafás, örökkévalóan a 7. napon megpihent, és ez a nefes az, ami pihen, vagyis marad velünk éjszakára.
When the soul leaves the body is left partially without a life. And by the way, that's one of the reasons why we do a particular mitzvah in the morning when we wake up, which is
Washing
yeah, the washing of the hands. Not like washing for bread, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, depending how you do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is because when the soul returns to the body, we're told, the force of impurity that was associated with the body during death, that's tumas mes, yes, the tuma of death, the partial death before the soul had departed, that goes off a person and it clings to his hands. That impurity is then cleansed through the washing.
És ugyanemiatt kell reggel a kezünket leönteni, hogy ezek a lelkek, amikor eltávoznak és visszatérnek, az kvázi mint halálszerű dolog, és az ilyen halott általi tisztátalanságnak a leöntése, és ezért ezt kell háromszor leönteni a kezünket ébredés után.
So when the soul leaves the body during sleep, it goes into the spiritual realm. First, there's a lower spiritual realm. Above that, there's a higher spiritual realm. The lower spiritual realm is described as being inhabited by lower spiritual beings. And these lower spiritual beings in Jewish teachings are referred to as shading or shindalit or demons. The lower spiritual realm is inhabited by the demons. I said when the soul leaves the body,
Yes.
the soul goes into the spiritual realm, like we said earlier. Yeah. First there's a lower realm, and then there's a higher realm. The lower realm is inhabited by the lower spiritual beings.
Okay. De amikor a lélek elhagyja a testet, akkor megy föl a magasabb világokba, és a magasabb világokban is több réteg van, és a magasabb világokban az alacsonyabb réteg az, ahol vannak ezek a sédim, amit úgy fordítanak fel, hogy démon.
And as the night progresses, the soul continues to elevate into the higher realm. The higher realm is inhabited by angels.
És akkor magasabb rétegekben vannak azok, amiket angyaloknak hívunk.
And these angels, among the angels, are what's called angels of prophecy.
És hogyha tényleg ilyen magasabb rétegben jut el a lélek, ott vannak olyan angyalok is, akiknek vannak proféciáik.
So now, when the soul goes into the spiritual realm, the first part of the night, the lower part of the spiritual realm, it has interactions with these negative lower spiritual forces, like a conversation. And that conversation affects the nefesh, it affects the ruach, neshama, chayin yehidah, transmitting down into the nefesh. The nefesh is connected into the brain, and that message is then connected to our thoughts and becomes the source of the dream.
És akkor, amikor a lélek részek mennek először csak az alacsonyabb rétegekbe, és ott ezek a démonok, ezek ilyen negatívabb erők, és velük mintha csak beszélgetnének, és amikor visszajönnek és felébredünk, akkor ezek a negatívabb tartalmi információk kerülnek a fejünkbe, ha csak oda jutott el a lélek.
Okay, and this is the source for not the mundane, nonsensical dreams, but the false dreams.
És akkor innen van meg a másik kategóriája az álmoknak, amik tényleg hamisak. Még tényleg nem az, hogy csak semmi közük nincsen spiritualitáshoz, hanem van közük, de negatív értelme, tehát hamisság, hazugság.
Yeah, why? Because these negative forces, they want to disturb and make people upset. So they bring these false dreams.
Mert ezek a negatív energiák, erők, szellemi erők, ők nekik rosszak a szándékaik, zavarni akarják az embert, és ilyen elkeserítő álmokat adni.
When the later part of the night, the soul goes into the higher realm, it has an interaction with these angels of prophecy. It's like a conversation that takes place between the angels of prophecy and the soul, between the ruach, between the ruach, neshama, chayin yehidah, and that gives a person an inkling of prophecy.
És az éjszaka későbbi részében, amikor magasabb részre ér, ahol a proféciának angyalai vannak, ott kaphatnak pozitív tartalmi információkat, amelyek igazak.
Yes, and it's for this reason that the Gemara says that dreams are a 60th of prophecy. Yeah.
Ezért mondja a Talmud, 61-60 profécia az álom.
Yeah, just like sleep is a 60th of death, so the dream is a 60th of prophecy. And also the Midrash says that dreams are like the buds of prophecy. The Rambam explains that just like in a bud you have the fruit, so too in the prophecy you have the basis for, so in the dream you have the bud for the prophecy.
Ez egy tökéletes hasonlat, mert ugye 1/60 álom, az 1/60 profécia, az alvás az 1/60 halál, és a profécia az pedig olyan, mint a rügye. Az álom olyan, mint a rügye a proféciának, mert hogy a rügyben is megtalálható az egész gyümölcs.
So you have three different types of dreams then. You have the lower type of dream, which is affected by the things that people do, eat, think. You have the next level of dream, which is the false dream, that comes about through the negative spiritual forces. And then you have the true prophetic dreams, which comes about through the interaction between the angels of prophecy and the soul during sleep. Yeah. So there's a story about a particular Jew, Yankel was his name, and he was from a place called Pletsk. This Yankel from Pletsk, he once had a dream. And in his dream, he saw that there was a buried treasure under a bridge in Krakow. So when he woke up the next day, you know the story? Yeah? He said, I have to go to Krakow. I have a buried treasure. So he goes, he sets out, he's got his pickaxe and his shovel, and he goes to Krakow. He sees the bridge, and there he sees a policeman, a sentry, and he goes under the bridge and he starts digging. So the policeman says, hey, what are you doing digging under the bridge? He says, yeah? So you want to tell him? Translate?
You can finish.
Oh, you know the story,
Yes.
So he says, I had a dream. In the dream, I know that there's treasure buried underneath the bridge. So the sentry says, you silly Jew. If dreams were true, so I wouldn't be standing here on the bridge in Krakow. I'd go to a town in Pletsk, and I'd find a certain Yid called Yankel, and I'd move his stove away, bury underneath the stove, I'd find the buried treasure, because that's what I thought, that's what I dreamt last night. So Yankel hears this, and he realizes he shouldn't be looking for the treasure here. He goes home, and sure enough, he moves the stove away, and underneath he finds the gold buried underneath his.
És van egy ilyen szép történet a Jenkelről, aki volt Pleckben egy zsidó, egy kis faluban, és egyik éjszaka azt álmodja, hogy Krakóban egy híd alatt el van ásva egy rejtett kincs, és megy és másnap Krakóba ásni egy híd alá, és amikor megállítja egy rendőr, hogy mit csinálsz, hogy ezt álmodtam, hogy itt van kincs. Az mondja, hát ha én hallgatnék minden ilyen buta álomra, akkor én nem itt lennék, hanem Pleckben, ahol van egy Jenkele nevű zsidó, mert azt álmodtam, hogy az ő háza alatt el van ásva a kincs, és akkor ezt meghallja, és azonnal hazaszalad, és a saját háza alatt ott van a kincs.
So the question is, did Yankel have a true dream or a false dream? What? Was Yankel's dream true or not true?
A kérdés az, hogy ez igaz álom volt, vagy nem?
He was following his time. So he went, somewhere and then he met that person that goes into the time.
So in his dream, he saw a bridge and he saw a sentry, and he went to the bridge, yeah, and that part of the dream was true. What wasn't true was the treasure wasn't buried there, the treasure was buried in his own house. Anyway, that tells us a lesson in life. Sometimes you think, oh, my treasure is way far away. You don't realize it's right here if you just know how to look. But part of his dream was true, and part of his dream was not true. Yeah?
Na, ez az álom ez részben igaz volt, részben nem, de mindenesetre nekünk annyi tanulságunk van belőle, hogy sokszor ez van velünk is az életben, hogy azért kell elmennünk jó messzire, hogy azért rájöhessünk, amink van saját magunknak.
So this is connected to one of the teachings of the sages in the Talmud that say that even true dreams have some falsehood. There's not a single dream that's entirely true and has nothing which is false. Where do we learn this from? Where do we learn this from, the Gemara says? We learn this from the dream, and here's your point, that's where you're nodding. We learn this from the dream of Yosef. Because we said Yosef had a dream where he saw the sun and the moon corresponding to his father and his mother, and the 11 stars that were bowing down to him. And in fact, that came true, right? His family bowed down to him. But Rabbi Yirmiyahu said, wait a minute, that's not true. Yeah? His father bowed down to him. His brothers bowed down to him. But what about his mother, the moon? She bowed down or she did not? She didn't. Why? Because by that time, she was dead. So from here the Gemara says, certainly it was a true dream. Most of it came true. But part of it didn't come true. So you see from here, even true dreams have some falsehood.
Most jobban nézzük már a Talmudnak ezt a tanítását, hogy minden álomban van egy kicsi belekeveredve valami ilyen bolondság, vagy hamisság, vagy nem odaillő dolog. Ezek alapján, az elvek alapján előbb mondtunk, és ezt igazából pontosan a Józsefnek az álmából tanulja a Talmud, hogy ott ugye a naphold csillagok meghajoltak előtte, apja, anya, és nem is hajoltak meg előtte, csak a testvérei igazából. Anya már nem is élt akkor.
Another thing that the Gemara tells us about dreams is that a lot of it has to do with the interpretation. And the Gemara tells a story about a particular rabbi who had a dream, and he went to the dream interpreters of Jerusalem. And there were many of these, 24 different dream interpreters. Every interpreter gave him a different dream, and all the interpretations came true. Yes, there's a story in the Gemara about a rabbi who had a dream. He went to 24 different dream interpreters. Each one interpreted something different, and they all came true.
A Talmudban van egy történet, hogy aki elment 24 különböző álomfejtőhöz, akik voltak Jeruzsálemben, és különböző álmokat mondta nekik, és mindegyik álomfejtőn által volt megfejtés valóra vált.
And this is based on what a Kolel. All of the interpretation of the dream, the realization of the dream is affected by the interpretation. And it's for this reason, if a person has a dream, he should be careful not to interpret it, certainly not interpret it for bad. Or if somebody else has a dream, you should be careful not to interpret it, certainly not interpret it for bad. If you're going to interpret it, you should interpret it for good. Yeah.
Úgyhogy ebből egy nagyon praktikus dolgot tanulhatunk, hogy az álmok azok, amelynek az értelmezésük után, hogy ezt is a Talmud említi, és éppen ezért tudjuk, hogyha esetleg álmodott valaki valamit, el ne kezdje értelmezni, és főképpen negatív irányba, mert azzal hatással gyakorolhat arra is, hogy ő valósul meg.
The Gemara talks about two rabbis, Abaye and Rava. And the Gemara says that each one, for a period of time, had the same dream. And they went to a dream interpreter to get the dream interpreted. The difference was that Abaye paid to have the interpretation, and Rava did not pay money for the interpretation. So they went, and Abaye interpreted, paid money, he got a good interpretation, came true. Rava went, didn't pay money, got a bad interpretation, and it also came true. The same dream, different interpretations come together. This was interpreted by a person who was interpreting dreams for money. He was not doing it for the right reason. Eventually what happened was that Rava, who this person caused great suffering to, was punished. And he was caught by the authorities, and they took him and they took two trees, and they tied his body to the trees. They let the trees go, the trees separated, and his body split in half like this.
The interpreter?
Yes, the interpreter.
Elmeséltem, hogy Abba és Rava hosszú ideig ugyanazt az álmot álmodták, és aztán egy idő után már olyan sokat álmodták, hogy már mentek egy álomfejtőhöz. Abba fizetett a Raván, nem, Abba-nak akkor jót fejtett ki belőle, és a Ravának egy rosszat, és akkor Rava nagyon meg is valósult, amit megfejtett, és Ravának nagyon nagy problémákat okozott ezzel, ő kvázi elátkozta, és akkor az lett a vége, hogy ezt elfogták ezt az álomfejtőt a hatalom, és szörnyű módon kivégezték. Egy fához kötözték, és a fát hagyták így két részre esni, és két részre visszamutatták a testét.
Since everybody's rewarded or punished according to what they did right or wrong, why would he be punished this way, if you ask them? A person is rewarded or punished according to what they do. So why was this dream interpreter punished this way, where he was split open in half like this?
Because he did...
Why? By specifically that?
Okay. Akkor fel lehet tenni a kérdést, hogy miért pont ezt a halált kapta, miért pont ezt a büntetést, mindig az örökölő úgy büntet, amit az ember csinált. Mida keneged midá? Akkor ebben mi volt a mida keneged midá? Mi volt ebben mit kapott vissza? Tudja valaki mondani, hogy mi volt az, amit visszakapott az álmfejt, amit ő is csinált? Pont a ketté szakítás. Mit szakított ő ketté?
You asking the question?
Egy forrás.
He said, split a friendship. Interesting.
A split friendship?
A friendship of Abaye and Rava.
Abaye and Rava, two tzaddikim, are like two trees. And they really had the same dream. But the German interpreter, he was causing them to go in separate directions, good and bad. Since he caused it to split, good and bad, he was split. And he was punished because he caused this great sage such a suffering. Yeah. You want to say it?
Yeah. Azért, mert hogy ugyanaz az álmot álmodták, az volt az egy fa. És mégis kettőféleképpen magyarázta, és az volt a fa, ami ketté volt hasítva.
The Gemara also says that good people don't dream good dreams. Bad people dream bad dreams. Often people say, why should they dream? A good person, should he have a good dream? Everybody says, why don't I have good dreams? Why do I always have bad dreams? The Gemara says good people have bad dreams. Bad people have good dreams. What's that all about? Yeah?
Everybody the opposite.
Opposite. Yeah. What did the sages have in mind? What they're talking about is that wicked people, righteous people don't have what a lot of people call good dreams. What are good dreams according to many people? Like we said, he dreams that he's got money and he's got wealth and he's got power, right? Good people don't have those types of good dreams. Those good dreams are not going to bring anybody to a good spiritual place. They're only going to cause people confusion and disorient them. Who has those types of dreams? The wicked. The wicked. What type of dreams do the righteous have? Bad dreams. What type of bad dreams? Not nightmares, like ghosts They are monsters. But bad dreams that cause them to think, am I living my life properly? Do I have my perspectives correctly? Yes, maybe I should think about doing tshuva. So the Gemara tells them that when you talk about good dreams that people have, the righteous don't have those, the wicked have those, because those are just indulgent material dreams. Yeah? But the righteous, they have bad dreams, the type of dreams that bring a person to do tshuva.
Érdekes talmudi tanítás, hogy jó emberek álmodnak rossz álmokat, és rossz emberek álmodnak jó álmokat, de hogy lehetséges. Hát úgyhogy az is attól függ, hogy mire gondolnak. A rossz emberek, akik csak akarnak maguknak minél több pénzt, meg ilyesmit sikert, ők ilyen álmokban ringatják magát, és erről álmodoznak, hogy milyen sok pénzük lesz, milyen jól fognak élni, és ez nekik ez a jó álom, amiről ők álmodnak. És mi az, amikor egy jó ember álmodik rossz álmot? A rossz álom az nem azt jelenti, hogy rémálmot álmodik, hanem az úgy rossz álom, hogy olyan rossz gondolatokat okoz neki, olyan rossz érzés, hogy úgy talán kéne csúvát csinálni, kéne megtérnem, kéne jobban viselkednem, mert ez az, amerre fele ő tendál, ez az, amiben ő foglalkozik, hogy lehetne minél jobb ember, és ezt is kapja az álmában.
So we spoke about 3 different types of dreams before. The nonsensical dreams, which have to do with the material activities. The false dreams, which are lying, misleading dreams, coming about through the negative forces, and the true dreams coming about through prophecy. There's an interesting Gemara which discusses how the night is divided into 3 sections. Each section of the night has a different quality, a different characteristic. And the Gemara brings a description of the characteristic, a sign. The sign for the first part of the night is a donkey braying. Okay? What does it mean for a donkey to bray? That's the sound that the donkey makes. The sign for the second part of the night is dogs howling. Frightening, right? The sign for the third part of the night...
Rooster?
No, not a rooster. The sign for the third part of the night is a baby nursing from his mother, or a husband and wife who are together intimately in closeness.
Oké, szóval akkor beszéltünk a 3 fajta álmokról, az egyik az, amivel foglalkozunk egész nap, a másik az, milyen összezavarni akarja az ember negatív erőktől, és már az a profétikus álom. És van 3 része egyébként az éjszakának is, mint a Talmud azt elmondja. És mind a 3 részének az éjszakának van egy jele, amiket most itt énekelt nekünk. Az első résznek, amikor a szamár bőg, a második a kutya ugat, és a harmad, vonyi, egyszerű. Very good word. És a harmadiknak pedig 2 féle van, vagy pedig, hogy az anyuka a gyermekét szoptatja, vagy hogy közelségben a házas pár éjszaka összebújik.
Very good. So what's significant about these signs? What do they mean? So the first sign, the sign for the first part of the night in Hebrew is Hamor Noer. Hamor Noer, the donkey's sound. Okay? In Hebrew, Hamor is also related to the word Homer. What does Homer mean?
Material.
Material, physical. Noer means to stir up. So the sign for the first part of the night is the Homer Noer. The material influences of the day are coming alive and they are awake at that part of the night. The second part of the night is the dogs howling. What are the dogs howling? The Gemara says, that when the Malach HaMavet comes to town, Chalavim tzarkim. When the angel of death comes to town, you hear the dogs not just barking, but really howling. Because animals sense these extrasensory perceptions that human beings don't often feel. The third part of the night, where the sign is the baby nursing and the husband and wife together, that represents serenity, peacefulness, rejuvenation. So each part of the night is a spiritual progression. The first part of the night has the influence of the day echoing into the night. The second part of the night elevates higher from the physical into the spiritual realm, but the lower spiritual realm, for example, the Malach HaMavet, the angel of death. The third part of the night is elevated even farther, where the world becomes clean, becomes pure, it is revitalized and rejuvenated.
Természetesen már kitaláltátok, ez a 3 rész megfelel a 3 álomfajtának és a 3 éjszaka résznek, hogy az első, amikor a fizikalitás felkavarodik, az ugyanúgy van héberül, mint hogy a szamár bőg, mert a szamár az a hamor, az a homer, és a noer, hogy bőg, az meg a ér, hogy fölkavarodik. A második rész, amikor a kutyák ugatnak, a kutya, amikor a kutyák érzik, hogyha a városba jön, azt mondja a Talmud, amikor a halálangyal a városban, mert ilyen különleges érzékeléseik vannak, olyan negatív erőket is érzékelik, amit az ember nem érzékel. És a harmadik része az éjszakának az pedig a békesség, ugye vagy az anya szoptatja a csecsemőjét, vagy a férjfeleség, ez a békesség, szeretet, harmónia jele, és ez felel meg természetesen a profétikus álmoknak.
Very good. So the Maharsha, one of the commentators in the Talmud, he compares these 2 Gemorahs, the one about the 3 types of dreams with the 3 signs for the night, and he says they actually go together. The first type of dream, which is the material dream, is the dream that a person dreams at the first part of the night, which is the Hamor Noer. The second type of dream, the false dream coming about through the demons, that corresponds to the second part of the night with the dogs howling. The third types of dreams, the true dreams, that correspond to the third part of the night, where the world is pure and clean, the soul is closest to God, deriving its sustenance like a baby nursing from its mother, or close to God in intimacy like a man and woman. So according to this then, the types of dreams that you have are going to also be affected by the time of night. Dreams that you have at the beginning of the night don't mean anything. They're just a reflection of what you did during the day. Dreams you have in the middle of the night, you wake up at midnight and you're shaking, you've got goosebumps because you had a bad dream, that's because your soul was having an interaction with the negative forces. The dreams that you have at the end of the night, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, just before the dawn, those are going to be the time, that's going to be the time when you have your true dreams.
I said already.
You said that, okay. Very good. So there were cases of, in Jewish history, cases where tzaddikim would actually navigate their dreams, and they would proactively use the dream to attain prophecy. Yeah. There's a famous story about the Baba Meir. You've heard of the Baba Sali, maybe? The Baba Sali was a great Kabbalist from Moroccan Jewry, and he lived in Israel. He was known to be a very insightful, wise, inspirational person. Once there was a Jewish child that was kidnapped in London, and the police could not find out where this kidnapped child was located. I think that's called Scotland Yard, if I'm not mistaken. Scotland Yard could not find the child. So these Jewish people, they came to Israel and they consulted the Baba Sali. Maybe he could think about where the child was. So the Baba Sali said, I can't help you. But you go to my son, Baba Meir. So they went to Baba Meir, and Baba Meir heard the story. He said, come back tomorrow morning, and hopefully I'll be able to help you. So they came back the next day, and when they came, he had a handwritten map of London, and he says, the child is here.
Érdekes dolog, hogy azt is találtuk, hogy a zsidó hagyományban többször volt, hogy ilyenből emberek voltak, akik tudták az álmokat befolyásolni arra, hogy profécia felé vezessenek, és erre mond most egy példát, hogy volt a Baba Sali nagy kabbalista, és az ő fia volt a Baba Meir. És hogy történt ez egy eset, nem olyan rég, ez mostanság történt, hogy jöttek ehhez a nagy kabbalistához, hogy segítsen nekik, hogy elrabolták a gyerekeket. Londonban volt. És a Baba Sali meg volt Izraelben. És kérték, hogy segítsen, hogyha tud esetleg. Mondta, ő nem, de esetleg a fia mondta, jó, akkor holnap gyertek vissza holnap reggel. Visszajöttek holnap reggel, és adott neki egy térképet, itt van a fiatok.
Yes, you do that, right?
Mutat egy térkép, és rajta egy X.
Yeah. So they took the map back to London, they gave it to Scotland Yard, and lo and behold, the child was wherever that I put it. Problem is, the Baba Meir never left Israel. He didn't know what London looked like. They didn't even have internet or Google Maps, and even if they did, he wouldn't use it. He had a hood over his head like this, and he wouldn't look anywhere. How did he know where the child was? Number one. Number two, how did he know? And the Baba Sali, his father, did not know. Yeah? So they asked the Baba Sali, and the Baba Sali said that because he was more famous, than Baba Meir. He interacted with people in a way where he was not able to guard his eyes as he should be. But his son, Baba Meir, was very, very careful about guarding his eyes and seeing only pure, holy things. And since he guarded his physical eyes to see pure things, Hashem opened up his mental eye to see at a distance.
Egyrészt, hogy lehet, hogy tudta ezt a térképet, amikor hogy nem volt internet, és nem is használta volna, lett volna, hogy nem is látta soha London, soha nem hagyta el a saját környékét, és másrészt meg rá volt húzva a fejére egy ilyen dolog, amitől nem látott soha, és nem is nézett egyáltalán kifelé a fia. Másrészt, hogy lehet, hogy ő tudta, és az apja nem, és az apja meg tudta, hogy ő fogja tudni. Kérdezték tőlük, és mondták, hát ez így lehet, hogy mert nagyon híres vagyok, mondta a Baba Szárja, az apjuka, mindenféle emberek jönnek hozzá, és beszélgetek vele, és látom őket, és ezért a szemem kvázi be van szennyezve, és látok a dolgokat is esetleg nem cniut, nem feltétlenül szemérmes dolog, és akkor emiatt nincsen olyan tiszta látásom. Ezért mondom, a fiam nagyon vigyáz rá, és soha semmit nem néz, nagyon vigyáz a szemére, és ezért sokkal tisztább az a lelki látása.
So you might say, who says the story is true? Maybe it's just a story they tell.
Yes.
Yeah? So we have such a story in our family. My wife, her grandfather was also a Kabbalist from Yemen, and he was also a dayan in the Beit Din. And once there was a factory owner who had a huge amount of money stolen from the office in the factory, and he knew it had to be somebody, one of the employees, but he didn't know which it was. And they couldn't figure out who stole the money. So they went to my wife's grandfather and they asked him, maybe he could help identify who stole the money. So he said the same thing. I can't tell you now. Come back tomorrow. Right? But what he did was he went to sleep and he used Kabbalistic teachings to have some type of a spiritual elevation, as we're speaking about in sleep, an interaction with the angels. And he said he was given a message that he wanted to have a list of the names of the workers. So they brought the list of the names of the workers, and he went through the list, and he says that one. and that's what happened. They investigated, and they found that was the one who stole the money. Her grandfather.
Hogyan lehet tudni, hogy ez a történet ez valóban igaz, és nem csak így mesélik? Azt mondja, ő személyesen tudhatja pont, mert a feleségének a nagypapája is volt egy nagy kabbalista Jemenből, és volt egy nagy bíró is, egy daján, és mentek hozzá, segítséget kért egy gyártulajdonos, mert egy nagy összeget elrabolt tőle valamelyik munkás. Azt lehet tudni, hogy ez egyik munkás volt, az világos volt a körülményekből, csak azt nem, hogy melyik, és nagyon-nagyon sok munkása volt. És ugyanezt kérte tőle, várjál holnapra, és akkor majd egy kabbalisztikus úton, módon tudja a saját álmát úgy irányítani, hogy kapjon erre egy információt. És akkor kérte, hogy hozzá a névsort, és a névsorból egyszerűen rábökött arra az emberre, és akkor keresték, kutatták, és megtalálták, hogy tényleg az ember volt, aki ellopta sok pénzt.
And one other example of this, you might think, well, these are just far out, strange stories, yeah? But rabbis, very learned Talmudic scholars, wouldn't be involved in these things, but the answer is that's not true. There are written records of many well-known rabbis, the Ritva, the Rashba, and others, who would actually do what's called a Shelat Halom. During their sleep and their dream state, they would submit questions to God to clarify things in their learning that they couldn't understand. And they were given answers.
Mm-hmm. For Talmudic questions?
Yes, for Talmudic questions. And in fact, this whole process of asking questions and giving answers is called Shut, Sheilot V'Tshuvot. There's a whole shoot called Shut Min HaShamayim, where the rabbi wrote his shoot based on the questions he submitted to the heavenly realm through dream, and he wrote the answer that he received from the heavenly realm.
Azt hiheti az ember, hogy hát ez biztos ilyen mesék, ilyen egyszerű történetek, de biztos, hogy nem ilyen komolyabb emberek, ilyen nagy tóratudósok, talmudtudósok ilyen nem foglalkoznak vele, de ezzel az a probléma, hogy ez dokumentálva van nagyon nagy talmudi tudósokra, és akiknek mindmáig tanuljuk a műveit, hogy ők is írják, hogy ők csináltak ilyet, ilyen álomkérdezésnek hívják, hogy ténylegesen, ami nehéz volt egy kérdés, amit nem értettek, azt álmukba föltették a kérdést kvázi egy égi bíróságnak, és komplett könyvet is írtak, ami csak olyat tartalmazott, Shut Min HaShamayim, vagy olyan kérdések, amit föltettek kvázi égi bíróságnak, és kapták a választ.
That's Ari Migash. The author of the Shut Min HaShamayim is Ari Migash, a Rishon. So we want to conclude just with a few dreams that the Gemara tells us the meaning of. Okay? Let's see what you think. The Gemara says, somebody who dreams that he sees Ishmael. He sees Ishmael in a dream. Yeah? Is that a good dream or a bad dream?
Bad.
Yeah. What do you think? The Gemara says, good dream. Good dream. Why? Ishmael. God will hear your prayer. Yeah? Person who dream, but the Gemara says, not just any old Ishmaelite, yeah, with the kafiyah, only Ishmael ben Avraham. Why? Because Ishmael ben Avraham, he did tshuva. He made tshuva at the end of his days and he became a tzaddik. And in fact, there were rabbis named Ishmael. There's Rabbi Yishmael in the Gemara. A person who dreams that he sees himself naked in the dream. Good dream or bad dream? Translate.
Must be good.
That must be good.
Depends on the circumstances.
That's a Jewish answer. It depends. What does it depend on, Danny?
I don't know. I mean, if you're naked, it can mean that, for example, you lost everything. That's why you are naked.
Okay.
That's one interpretation.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Okay. What about good?
Well, you are naked, it can mean that you just did tshuva and you got rid of all of these earthly sins.
Beautiful. That's exactly what the Gemara
That's why
says.
it's that circumstance.
Exactly. Very good. A good Jewish answer, and then you're correct. That's what the Talmud says. It depends. If he is in the land of Israel and he dreams that he's naked, he's outside of the land of Israel, that's a good thing. If he's in the land of Israel, it's a bad thing. Why? Chutz La'aretz is basically a place of Tumah. If a person is naked in Chutz La'aretz, what that means is he is absent of the effect of Chutz La'aretz, in which case he's doing pretty good. However, Eretz Yisrael, which is Eretz HaKadosh, that's a place of Kedusha. If he's naked in Eretz Yisrael, that means he's absent of Kedusha, and that would be a bad thing. The Gemara says also that a person who sees himself dreaming praying in a dream is also a very good thing. Halavai, we should be praying when we're awake. The more so if you pray that you're when you're asleep. If you're praying, it's a sign that you've got your soul, your mind in the right place. Somebody who sees himself wearing tefillin, this would be a dream for the guys, I guess. Yeah? If you see yourself wearing tefillin, then that's a sign that you have greatness waiting for you. You should anticipate greatness.
I just look on your list because I will forget the points. Thank you. So, amikor valaki látja az álmot, Ismaelt, Ábrahámnak a fiát, akiből lettek az arabok, az jó vagy rossz álom? Arra mondta, az igazából az egy jó álom, mert a neve azt jelenti, hogy meg fogja hallgatni az Isten, az ő imáit, de csak azt az első Ismát lehet látni, és nem pedig bármilyen arabot, mert hogy ő csuvát csinált az élete végén. Akkor a következő álomfajta volt, aki látja magát álomban mesztelenül. Az attól függ, hogy Izrael földjén álmodja, vagy Izrael földjén kívül. Mert Izrael földje az egy szent hatás, ha az attól ő mesztelen, az baj, az egy rossz álomnak számít, hogy nem hat rá ez a szentség, de Izrael földjén kívül az meg ilyen tisztátalanság, és hogyha az attól ő megszabadult, attól ő úgymond mesztelen, az egy pozitív dolog. És a harmadik volt a... Oké.
Which one you want?
That's it. Hogyha látja magát, hogy álmában imádkozik, az biztos, hogy jó, hogyha erre gondol, és hogyha pedig... What was this?
Tefillin.
Yes.
Greatness.
És hogyha azt látja, hogy magában visel egy tefillint az álmán, hogy ez egy fiúról volt szó, valószínűleg, akkor az nagyságot jelent.
And the final, we conclude is that a person who has a dream that they're saying the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. He dreams in his dream that he says the Shema, so he should anticipate having the divine presence rest upon him.
A legjobb ez, hogyha azt látja az álmában, hogy mondja a Shmát. Akkor már az azt jelenti, hogy a örökkévalónak a jelenléte az rajta fog nyugodni.
So may we all anticipate the time when we say Hashem wholeheartedly, we say the Shema wholeheartedly, we merit to have the divine presence rest among us, and in that merit we be zocheh to return to Eretz Yisrael together with Mashiach Tzidkenu. Amen.
Amen.